the reason why I'm telling you guys that it's different this year is it's not like you can just wake up and be like, all right, one day I'm just going to go and be a full-time crypto guy. Most people you see that do that, like, unless they already have enough cushion underneath them to like last for a year or two, those most of the people end up just going back to finding work elsewhere because it's not as easy as it seems. Okay, guys. It's also very time consuming and very stressful because you have a lot of, let's just say, things in motion that if the wind blows on it from a left degree angle, or like a raindrop drops on it the wrong way, everything that you have could collapse. And so you basically, especially if you're dealing with large amounts of money, you're basically going to be in this like perpetual state of like almost borderline panic to like euphoria, right? So you're going to be euphoric in times that you're doing really well. And it's like if you guys go back to 2021, last year in 2021, you literally could have put $100 in like any one of the top shit coins, let it sit for like 1 to 3 months, and you probably could have turned that $100 into like the bare minimum of $1,000, which would be a 10x, right? So think about if you put $1,000 in instead and you got a 10x, that would have been 10 grand. So $1,000, $10,000, like you would get massive amounts of dopamine and endorphins from doing this. You're like, oh my God, I'm a fucking genius. I'm so brilliant. Grandma, you got to buy some of the corn. Grandma, I got to teach you about this guy Vitalik. Grandma, let me tell you about this guy Vitalik.
Clapping. Vitalik, impressed, happy and clapping. Vitalik is impressed.
Vitalik is impressed, Grandma. And then when the opposite would happen, which was like every other week, because honestly, guys, and I think too, the cryptocurrency market, it has been like a direct reflection on like the chaotic state of humanity in current times. It's like one day it's like, oh my God, everybody's rich. Everybody's rich. And the next day, oh my God, it's all over. It's going to fucking zero. Dan Pena comes in, starts telling everybody it's going to zero.
It is my humble opinion, and there's nothing humble about me. Bitcoin will go to fucking zero.
Right? You guys know exactly what I mean. And that's stressful, right? So it's like, it's not the easiest thing to like go and do. In all honesty, when you're doing that, you might think to yourself, man, I might have been just better off if I just put all my money into like Bitcoin or Ethereum and just let it sit and forget about it and just go back to whatever it was that you're doing as a source of income and reevaluate 1, 2, 3 years down the road. That's how traditional markets have worked, like equity markets, real estate. Harry Zykos in here in the chat knows a thing or two about real estate, so I'm sure Harry can concur. Which people do, they flip like houses too, but like the average person, correct me if I'm wrong, Harry, the average person that just buys a home, even if they don't think of it as an investment, or maybe they're thinking of it as a long-term investment, part of their retirement or whatever, they're like, I'm probably not planning on selling this house in 6 months. It'll probably be like 1 to 10 to 20 years down the road, right? So you think to yourself, maybe that might have been the better thing to do from the start, especially when things are getting really bad, or when they turn really bad, because the cryptocurrency market, guys, is just insanely volatile. It always has been, except now in 2021 and 22, every single market is volatile. Everybody is emotionally volatile. The government is volatile. Like there's like volatile water falling from the sky. Everything's volatile, right? So just take that, the thing that was already existing that was volatile, the cryptocurrency market's even more volatile now. As of late March, it's a 3-year loan collateralized with $820 million in Bitcoin. Okay, so basically they took $205 million and turned it into $820 million worth of Bitcoin, right? Yes. Smash the like button, please. Sam says full-time crypto is just worrying about how you're next going to get forked over. Ask me how I know. Yeah. Like, and there is things that you can do, guys, but that are like, I would say, safe to do. but it's going to require like at least $100,000 of capital. So let me show you guys, and let's talk about the next bullet point that I have here, which is like chasing yield and chasing DeFi. Okay, so we talked about both camps, Camp A and Camp B, right, guys? Camp A is concerned about increasing their amount of dollars. Camp B is concerned about increasing their amount of like Bitcoin or Ethereum or just big blue chip digital assets, right? That doesn't mean that there's no crossover between two, right? Because like I've told you guys before, that I think that I fall more so into a cross between both of them. I think it's dumb to be like specifically just thinking one way or the other. But let's say you're closer to the Camp A side, but you want to have the peace of mind that the people would have in Camp B, who are just like, I'm just not going to worry about it and just think about it later, right? So there's things that exist that are safe out there, and listen, I'm not gonna suggest like anybody do this. Hold on one second, guys. Allow me to introduce you to something that so far has been safe. Now, there's been lots of things out there that were safe for quite some time and ended up not safe in the end. I would say that this is probably one of the more safe ones because they literally have an entire chain behind it. And let me show you guys what I'm talking about. So this is Anchor Protocol. All right, guys. Anchor Protocol. This is a protocol on the Terra blockchain. And essentially, to keep it stupid simple, stupid, KISS, you can take UST stablecoin, which is UST stablecoin is a token that is, one of them is always going to equal $1. So basically, it's like $1 tokenized. All right. Now, there's a couple different variations of stablecoins. There's a fuck ton out there, actually. But UST is a newer one, and it's growing quite big, and it's getting fast, and a lot of traction behind it, more so because of the chain. And yes, UST can be used as the native asset for the chain. So you know how if you guys go to Ethereum blockchain and you need to sign a transaction, you have to pay Ethereum for a gas fee, right? Well, with Terra's blockchain, they have their native token, which is Luna, Luna, and you can pay gas fees and pay for the transactions with Luna. But you also have UST, which is the stablecoin based off of Luna, okay? And if you don't have any Luna, you can pay for your gas fees with UST. Now, why is that? I mean, that's good. That would take a whole probably do a whole different stream on that because it's pretty complex of how it works. But basically, guys, you have UST and you have Luna. Okay, you have two of these assets in the same chain. Now, depending on certain market situations and circumstances, you either, and you don't have to specifically do it, but this is how it works. Okay, you can if you want to do it. You either take your Luna and you burn your Luna for UST, or you do the inverse. You basically burn UST for Luna. It's actually quite a bit more complicated with how it actually works, but they're interchangeable. Okay, guys, they're interchangeable, or you could consider them to be interchangeable at the very least. But anyway, let's back to this protocol here. So let's just say you take $1,000 worth of UST, so you get 1,000 UST. And it's going to be $1,000 is equal to 1,000 USD because they're stablecoin, right? Now, you guys can see what they have here. They have an APY, which has been sustained for, let's see this little toggler. This is only the last month. But basically, guys, the APY has been at around 20% for almost as long as I can remember, all right? For the last, at least 6 months. I think slightly before 6 months, it was well over 20%. There are people that are fighting very hard to keep it at this 20%. However, let's just say it was 10%. How much APY are you getting in your checking or savings account at your local bank? Probably like what? 0.035%, a fraction of a percent, right? So if you were to put $1,000 in here, it would be compounding, and you get 19.47. So for all intents and purposes, 20%, guys, APY. And they pay it out daily. Okay. So that's what makes the compounding actually work even better. However, back to the point I'm trying to make. Excuse me, friends. Back to the point I'm trying to make. This, I would say, is on the safer side of things that you could say, like, okay, I'm going to put a couple $1,000s in here and set it and forget it. At the very least, you're hopefully, if you believe that CPI is actually 8.5%, which I think we all know CPI is not 8.5%. It's a lot more than 8.5%. But hopefully it's at least not 20%, although it might be. At the very least, you're outpacing inflation by, I don't know, 10 to 12%, something like that. Right, guys? And, you know, you're going after that quote unquote yield. You're going after being able to multiply your dollars like the people that wanted to in the Camp A, right? The Camp A people who were concerned about multiplying dollars, putting dollars into this market and getting more dollars out of it in a kind of like relatively hands-off, safer, not that it's safe, 100% safe manner, right? But are you going to be doing that for a day job? Like, how much is $1,000 in a net you per week? Probably about like $3 per week. Okay. So let's just say you live in a city and your rent's like $3,000 a month. Let's say you have $1,000 car note per month. Let's say you have other expenses, so you need another $1,000 a month. You need to make at least $5,000 a month. $100,000 putting in here wouldn't even give you that $5,000 per month, at least not the initial month. Okay. You'd probably get like $600 to $800 per. You'd probably get anywhere between $800 to like $1,600 per month if you had $100,000 using in this protocol. Okay, so right off the bat, literally right off the bat, like, is $1,800 a month? And that was the higher end of the estimate that I gave, guys. Is $1,800 a month to be enough to pay your bills, especially if your bills are about $5,000 a month? No, it's definitely not. Right? You have to go do some other things. So that people in the Camp A, this might be a tool that they would use. However, if you're really, really needing to chase that alpha, to chase the yield, this probably ain't gonna get you to where you need to be. And that's like with $100,000 investment. Okay, most people out there don't have $100,000. Like, most of you guys probably don't have $100,000 to dump in this, right? So take that into consideration with everything that we're saying. Okay.